everybody, welcome to another episode of Squirrel Tales. This is going to be part one of a two-part video series, the video that we're going to make for beginners. So this one is going to be about if you're just getting into squirrel hunting, or if you're an older person, a more veteran hunter, and you have somebody that wants to get into it, then what can you tell them? What kind of tips, what kind of answers can you give them to the things they may want to know? The first thing we're going to go over, of course, is safety. Hunting here in Missouri, the Conservation Department has a really good hunter education course. Of course, if you're born after 19, I think it's 67.
64. Is
it 64? You have to take it. The good thing about Missouri is it's recognized in all the other states. So, you know, I can go hunting, and you guys know that I hunt in other states, and my hunter education course is accepted in those states. So you don't have to take it once. You can do it in an all-day thing, or a 2-day. There's a couple of 2-day ones, and I think these days you can do half of it online. And if you're over the age of 18 getting into it for the first time, you can actually do it all online. So that would be step one. Actually, to me, that might be step two. Step one, if you're watching this for the first time and you think, what do I need to do to get into this? I'm going to suggest, well, find somebody to hunt with.
Exactly.
We both have children. We've both mentored other hunters and friends and got people into the sport. So that would be my first thing, is find somebody, you know. Yes, watch these videos. If you're on our Facebook page, you can message me and I'll answer anything that I can. But step one, I think, is, you know, learn and find somebody that can take you out. And the next thing would be, of course, safety.
Yes.
This is supposed to be a fun, family-oriented, satisfying type of experience. So be safe. Other questions that I get sometimes is camouflage. Do you need it? What's the best? I'll tell you that two things. Number one, all the stuff that we're going to talk about, we're not experts. We just stayed at a Holiday Inn. So while our word is gospel, it's not actually the end all be all of gospel. The next thing is we are not endorsing any specific brand. We're not being paid to endorse a brand. And when it comes to camouflage patterns, you know, some of the patterns for some parts of the country don't actually fit in other parts of the country. So get what's the best for your area. But let's start with the first one. Mike, do you need camouflage?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You can get by with a little darker clothing, kind of like dove hunting.
Mm-hmm.
You can go with a little darker clothing, or if you can't afford, like with me, the full suit, you know, you can just get a camouflage shirt that anyone you like. I like mine a little darker because we're sitting on the ground, you're in the shade, it hides you a little better.
Yep. You know, Fred Bear always said, and this is kind of what I subscribe to, you know, the best camouflage is be still and shut up. And there's a lot of truth to that. Now, I do wear camouflage. I'm a real tree guy. I know Mike likes the mossy oak.
Colors.
I don't think that there's actually a true benefit to either, unless tree stand hunting versus ground hunting, which we're not going to get into here because this is beginners and that's more like deer and that kind of stuff. When you start talking about that, yeah, there is a difference for your camouflage. But as far as like, oh, which is better, mossy oak or real tree or the Sitka or some of this other stuff, honestly, depending on where you are.
I was going to say, look at your trees. You want to blend in with your trees and your ground.
And that's exactly what I was going to go with. It is, you know, if you're hunting out west where it's nothing but evergreens, then you're going to want something that's got that color pattern. If you're here, it's March, but at our place here, it's not, you know, the trees aren't blooming or anything. You know, this is a lot more fall-ish looking. So there's a lot of grays, a lot of browns, not very much green. So you want to limit you know, how much green you want to put on. But to be honest with you, you know, the military old-fashioned 1980s BDU stuff, again, if you just break up your pattern and you just sit still and be quiet, you're going to be fine. You're going to see squirrels, you know.
With your camouflage, if you can't afford it, you've got down tops. Climb up in a top.
Yeah.
Something that'll just help hide you.
The other thing is like hats or face masks. I wear a face mask when I'm by myself. Again, I'm just trying to blend in with the surrounding as much as I can. And I will say, and I know Mike has too, like I've had squirrels that have almost, and I'm pretty sure some of them would have run up my leg had I not moved. So some of these camo patterns
they're good.
They're really good. But you know, when I go like to take one of my younger kids out or something, I usually don't wear a mask. It's just gloves and stuff, and the gloves are really more to protect our hands going through the woods than they are for camouflage. Same thing with a hat, you know, because you guys all know that you can run into some thorns and cut yourself pretty easy. So the clothing that you select isn't just about camouflage. There's also some protection issues, which is actually going to bring us up to price. How much do you need to spend?
That's, to me, to each on their own. I
Yep.
like to go full out from my feet to my head. I cover all the white.
So you're going to hear me say this a lot, especially with guns and ammo and things. Honestly, my answer is the best you can afford.
Exactly.
You know, not saying that you have to go out and buy a $300 set of whatever, but you know, you guys that are hunting in northern climates, well, you need to be warmer than they do in, say, Texas or Georgia, Mississippi, something like that. You know, same thing with out west. Here in Missouri, we are both blessed and cursed to have all 4 seasons on the same day.
Yeah.
So, you know, we need to have, I feel like, you know, nothing against you women, but I feel like I have hunting outfits for, you know, I have a bow season and a rifle season, you know, and lightweight, and then I've got my absolute parka things when it's, you know, 9 degrees below, and so some of you folks that are hunting in more stable climates can get away with less. But back to the price thing, you know, I want something that is going to last me as long as I can. And if that's, I can only spend $50, then so be it. You don't have to, this is all about having fun and getting into it. You do not have to spend a lot of money. I'm pretty sure that if your grandfather hunted, he killed a lot of squirrels and a lot of rabbits in overalls and a flannel shirt.
Yep.
I could almost bet vital body parts that he's killed a lot of stuff wearing just that.
Yes, sir.
For my pants, I look for some ripstop stuff because I hunt in a lot of briars. But so I want things that I can, you know, push through a few and it's not gonna destroy. Good solid boots.
With the boots, as long as they're comfortable and you can walk through the woods somewhat quiet in them,
Yeah.
it's the best pair you can get. A pair of boots that you're used to wearing that's wore out,
Mm-hmm.
where you can feel the ground.
Yeah, I'm big on foot care. So I probably spend more money on my boots than I do anything else. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I'm a big guy, so I spend a little bit more on my overalls and my jacket. I like a 2-piece. I know people that like a 1-piece, and it's all personal preference. It's what you want to do. So I guess, you know, bottom line, do you need it? No.
No, but it helps.
It
I
does
think.
help.
If you get in, well, like the last place we hunted,
Yeah.
you know, all them den trees, if you're gonna, that's a place to still hunt.
Yes.
So you definitely want to be hid.
Yeah. And we'll talk about still hunting versus other types in part 2 of this when we go into finding an area and all. But I think it helps. Is it an absolute necessity?
No.
No, but I think that it helps. The next thing we're going to talk about for beginners is gun selection. Now, I am going to tell you that we're going to stick to. We're not going to do pistols or crossbows or anything. That's a little more advanced. Not to say it's not cool, but we're talking. Hey, I'm getting into this for the first time. So, gun selection. Not going to cover brands. They're all pretty good.
Yeah, they're all.
So, Mike, if you had a guy or gal, somebody, and they were like, "Hey, man, I can really only afford one gun," what do you want to tell them?
Shotgun.
Yeah.
Versatile gun. Besides, it's great for squirrel hunting for beginners because if you use a rifle, and this is out of my own experience, you start shooting the squirrels with a 22, you're not that good yet. You get a lot of misses.
Yes.
And with a kid, you're not looking for misses, you're looking for connection.
Yes.
And a shotgun seems to be cheap, versatile, and it works really good.
So, what about gauge?
Preference there, I'm a 20 gauge guy myself. I used to shoot 12 all the time, but the 20 has got less recoil than the 12 does. You can go smaller than that if you want.
Yeah.
You can go down to the 28 or the 410, which I've got the over and under 410.
Right, and I've got a pump 410. So
I mean, they're great squirrel guns.
yes.
Great, but price wise, I would go with a 12 or a 20. Them are your two. Seem to be like if you're shopping Walmart, you can get 100 packs in shot selection. You got a ton of them.
Right.
But for a beginner, I would stay with like a 6, a 7.5, in a 12 or a 20, and a modified choke. And a lot of these guys are going to see this and say full. I'm not a big full fan.
Yeah, and I am. And actually, so we disagree on some of the things we talk about in the videos and the things that we don't record. I'm actually going to agree with him on everything but one point, and that's the choke. I like a full choke. There's not anything wrong with a modified. I just like a full.
Well, for a beginner, I'm thinking you get one on the run. If they're not good, because with the full choke, you're splitting hairs now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Or I feel that way.
I actually agree with a shotgun. Rabbits, squirrels, turkey, ducks. I mean, and now you're talking about barrel length and all that stuff. So we're gonna keep it real simple. But if you want the most versatile thing, that's gonna have a lot of stopping power. It's not gonna tear the meat up too much.
No, not bad at all.
And I'm also gonna agree that a 12 or a 20. I'm gonna go with a 20 because of recoil and still versatile. But I'm gonna go with it for recoil. You can still turkey hunt. You can still deer hunt.
Yes.
I'm gonna stay away from a 410, a 16, and a 28, even though I have a 410 for that very reason, and that's cost of ammo. And that's gonna take us into the next part of ammo selection. Now, this is actually, we've talked about this where we're going to disagree a little bit. Personally, I like a 6-shot. If they're not on the move, I like a 4-shot, but since we can't predict if we're going to shoot something on the move or not.
That's where I like to go between them two, between the 7.5. I don't mind 5s if I can find them, but they're hard to find.
They are hard to find these days.
But 6s, the 7.5s, gives you more shot.
It does.
And more of a chance.
It does.
You don't have to be so fine-tuned like we do with the 4s.
That is true. And honestly, my love for the 4, for a 4-shot goes back to when I was a kid. That's what I was raised with. My grandfather was all big on a number 4 shot.
Yep.
Now, as I got older and started hunting on my own, I found that I liked a 6. There's still a place for a 4. And I have some 4s, but I do seek out the 6s. My thing with the 7.5s is I don't like to pick out all the shot when I eat them.
Now, see, that's where I find, like the 7.5, I'm going to guess a lot of my shot stays in the hide.
Mm-hmm.
If you're reaching out there, besides point blank, but you get out there 20, 30, a lot of your shot will stay in the hide.
Yeah, especially a lot of these big old fox squirrels. I mean, we all know that
Oh, they're tough.
they're tough as can be. You almost have to triple boil them before you can eat them.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So back to the shot size. There's actually some videos out on YouTube where they've done ballistics gel with different shot size, and funny, I know guys that use 8 and 9 shot, and the 8's not as bad, but anything smaller than the 9, of course, the bigger the number, the smaller it is. That stuff was just bouncing off of ballistics gel. It wasn't even penetrating on some of these videos. Yeah, the 8s did go in. They didn't go in much. Now, once you hit 7.5 and started going bigger, of course, there was a lot more penetration.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised when I watched some of these videos of how much, like your bird, your 9s and all that, they were.
Really?
Yeah, and the 12 shot, they were just bouncing right off.
I've never used anything smaller than 7.5.
Well, you run into 12 with we're getting off the beginner stuff.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
those like 22 shot shells and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are number 12s.
Oh, them are rat loads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but anyways,
Now, would you go with with the gun selection? We were talking about that earlier. I meant to ask you, would you go single or pump?
I like a pump. There's a place for a single shot, especially teaching someone.
Yes.
And teaching someone, like if you want to learn shot placement and how important that is, nothing teaches you shot placement like only having one bullet.
One dinosaur at a time.
But back to your comment of you want to get them engaged. When I take my young kids fishing, we don't go bass fishing or catfishing. I want them to have fun and have that, almost instant gratification. And what's better than catching perch or bluegill is what they're actually called.
Yes, sir.
So I'm that same way with the pump. You do have that second shot, and I mean, I remember as a kid missing the first one. I had a single shot 20 gauge, and I remember missing the first one, and then the rabbit. We were rabbit hunting at the time, running off. It does teach you shot placement. Rabbit hunting's a little bit different. I'm not going to get into that. But with the pump, you are able to get that second shot off. And that does give you the gratification of, okay, I missed that one, but I got that second one. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
Let's find that next squirrel. And I know you like a single shot.
I do.
For the same reasons I said, for the educational ones.
Yep. It'll keep you humble.
It will.
As you've seen today.
Yeah,
I got humbled pretty good.
We were shooting. You'll watch that video when I get it posted. We were shooting a single shot, and I mean, single shot, you got one. So, so those are our opinions on we think shotguns. Let's say that you got this person got their 22 handed down. So they didn't have to go buy a gun. They've got, and the type of 22 doesn't matter. What do you think on ammo for that?
I like hollow points.
Yeah.
Definitely a hollow point. I mean, brand is up to you. I have my own favorites.
Yeah, and honestly, I think brand is up to the gun. I mean, there are
whatever
guns
the gun
that
likes.
flat out don't like certain brands.
Yeah.
So honestly, buy a box of 3 or 4 different and see what's going to pattern the best. When you're sighting it in. The only thing that I am super picky on when it comes to 22 long rifle is I do not want a solid lead nose with the lead exposed. They're just too dirty. And you beginner guys, you have got to clean 22s. They are some of the foulest, dirtiest guns ever. And those solid lead nose ones, man, those are just, they take dirty to a whole new level.
Yes, it does.
So I like the jacketed.
Jacketed.
I do like hollow points.
Yes.
and I do have my favorite brand of
Oh yeah.
hunting 22 ammo, but I do have guns that don't like, they only like a certain bullet weight, a certain everything. And here's something that, I mean, I hope you're watching this, trying to get into it, and you're taking our, listen to what we say. Don't overthink it.
No.
Buy a box of shells.
Just buy a box.
Go
and
shoot.
Go shoot. Yes, sir.
There's no reason to, I know we're covering all this. Do you need camo? Do you need this stuff? But the truth of the matter is, make the decision to go. I mean, if you want to go out in your blue jeans and flannel like your grandpa did, well, do what Fred Bear said. Be still and shut up, and I mean, listen to the birds and listen to how things move, and just be out there and have fun. Success will come. It's just,
don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
It happens. Eventually you will connect.
we have even gone out together and completely been skunked. I mean, did not even see a squirrel. So that's, and I mean, I started hunting.
Oh, I was hunting when I was 6.
Yeah, I was probably 5 or 6.
Now with them bullets you were talking about, like the regular round nose 22s.
Mhm.
Now, I like those for beginners because a lot of it they don't have a scope. Because when I first started, it was open sights. So if I hit one in the body, I didn't tear it up as bad.
Now, I'm not saying I don't like the round nose. I'm saying I don't
just
like the
dirty.
exposed
Yeah.
lead nose. I think that I think those Remington Golden bullets, they're not hollow points, but they're a jacketed bullet. It's not, the lead's not exposed.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I shoot a lot of just round nose bullets. I just don't like the solid lead,
Yeah, I can get that.
just because it just fouls the barrel. It's
A lot
just,
of work to do.
it's a
with that.
pain in the butt to clean and get out of there.
And most people with a 22, it's just put back in the gun cabinet. I'm
Yeah.
notorious for that myself.
Yeah, and those of you that have been watching the gun videos, I did a gun video on a Winchester 77, and I mean, a heck of a gun, but when I got it, it was dirty, and I did not clean it, and every, I can't remember, 4th or 5th shot, it would misfeed, and it was just, I mean, I took my finger in on the video, and it was just filthy. It's we'll cover cleaning in a minute. We'll just leave that.
Yeah, that's an episode upon itself. Now, would you say for a beginner, use a scope or open sights?
I say use a scope. This is
I'm
where.
torn.
So, when I was raised, I was taught master open sights, then get a scope.
Yes, sir.
I read an interesting article a few days ago about just scopes being, just people aren't even using open sights anymore. And it got me thinking about some of these guns that, that I've shot and that I own. I bought that semi-automatic 22 Magnum, and it doesn't even have sights on it.
Yeah.
And some of these guns, they're meant for optics, and that's fine. But I got to thinking about that CZ, and it has sights on it. And the first thing I did was cover them up with a scope.
Yep.
Now, it may be a little bit different because I do know how to shoot open sights. I do know how to sight in open sights, things like that. But if we're going back to beginner, I'd be honest with you, sighting in open sights isn't the easiest thing.
No, it's not. And you lose a lot of range with it.
You do.
I mean, that cuts you down, depends on, like me, 15, 20 yards.
Well, it's going to depend on eyesight.
Yeah,
and,
I
like
mean,
you're throwing in a whole lot
a
more
lot of other
variables.
stuff. A scope would be easier.
For ease of sighting in and back to that instant gratification point, I think a scope. But if we're back to the whole, you got the gun handed down to you, odds are your grandpa or whoever has sighted that thing in anyways. But shoot open sights. We're back to the whole buy 2 or 3 boxes of shells, take it out, and just
Find what it likes.
find what it likes, and just go out and do it. And that being the most important part of this, you know, the most important part of squirrel hunting is go squirrel hunting.
Yeah, we gotta get out there.
So, yeah, I think scope, but I think this is the camouflage question. I don't think it really matters. I think what's the best is just going out and
Just get it done.
yeah, just go shoot and
Get
go
out,
hunt.
get out, shoot, get out in the woods.
Yeah.
It'll all happen in time.
Back to the ammo. 2 3/4 inch or 3 inch
2 3/4.
recoil or what?
Mostly recoil, but you don't. To me, a squirrel doesn't need a 3 inch. I mean, unless you're down in the bottoms and some big water oaks where you need to reach up high. I just don't see where anything bigger needs to be.
Yeah, I don't actually have a preference to that question. I know I prefer a high brass shell over low. Just it has more power, and to me, it's about the ethics of killing it. I have shot things with low brass and it didn't kill them right away, and I just did not like that. So I prefer a high brass shell for that very reason. Now, if you're going to go, you know, shoot some clays, learn how to shoot, you know, a low brass shell is fine. And if you're taking our advice with either a single shot or a pump, what your brass size isn't going to matter. If you get into automatics, some of them won't cycle those.
Yeah.
But that's, and if your first gun is an automatic, well, cool.
I've learned with an automatic when I squirrel hunted with it, I had to count my shots.
Too fast? Like
Get him on the run and just trying to get him.
yeah.
I have to count, you know, here in Missouri it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 1, 2, and when I get on the third one, I actually lay down on my shotgun like a rifle.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see where, you know, it being so easy that you would want to rush things.
I have voice of experience.
Yeah. Again, between the two of us, we've got to have a solid 80 years of hunting experience. This isn't, back to what I said, you know, this isn't gospel. This is just 2 guys filming a series to help young hunters. This is just our opinion. Anything else on those topics?
Just get to know your gun.
Yeah.
Know your range. Get comfortable.
And find someone that can help you. I mean,
Yes, sir.
not necessarily like you have to, but I have more fun hunting with someone else. I have more fun at the range with someone else. There's that competition thing.
Yes,
There's the camaraderie part. So can you do it by yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a little harder.
You know, so this will be a little, we'll end on this little anecdotal story here. You guys know that, most of you know that I was a paramedic, and up until this year, you know, I retired from the fire department. My brother is a police officer, and what got me into squirrel hunting more than anything else was we'd always hunted together, and then when we grew up, you know, we all had our own lives, and it seemed like my brother's police schedule and my paramedic schedule never met to where we could hunt. And so I spent a couple of years not hunting much of anything, just because I really wanted to be with someone. And I got to thinking, you know, what can I do that I don't have to take serious? It's not like deer hunting with scent control and all the other stuff, you know. What can I do that I can be kind of lazy with? You know, I don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn, and I can still go hunt, still hunt more. What has a long season? Squirrels.
Yes, it does.
You know, some of you guys are in states that you have a spring season and a fall season. Some of you, you know, Alaska's season doesn't even close. You know, so, you know, here in Missouri, you know, rifle season's a week long, or like 11 days, something like that. But we've got 6 months of
Squirrel.
squirrel season.
Oh,
You know, so
Oh yeah.
You know, that's kind of how I got into squirrel hunting like I do. I'd always squirrel hunted, but you know the how I got into it as dramatically and how much I love it. That's kind of my foray into it. So you older guys that are and gals that are watching this, you shouldn't say older, more experienced hunters that are watching this, you know, feel free to leave comments down here. Any more comments to help the young people, or if you disagree with us or agree with us, whatever. It's all, you know, it's all friendly, friendly information. You can never have enough information. If you're one of those more experienced hunters and you know some people that want to get into it, or you get asked about it, you know, show them this video. You know, let them subscribe to the channel and learn something. Like the Facebook page so you can actually talk. We can talk to each other. I get messages all the time from people. So as always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2.